Well, another day that starts at Jegs with coffee, more car parts. Today's a big day. We are getting the 455 ready to go on the dyno. Also doing a little bit of stuff on the 350HO setup. We're balancing the crankshaft, and we've got some interestingly questionable, possibly successful machining to do on a flywheel to be able to get this Oldsmobile on the dyno. But I'm going to explain that to you when I get to the shop, and Bob and I can talk about it. But Terry's got some more parts that I need to pick up. 11th Avenue store here at Jegs. Did you see me pull in?
Saw you pull in.
Yeah.
I have to get your stuff.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that. How you been?
Performance and performance-related stuff.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Necessities. All right, so we got ourselves a fuel pump block-off plate. Same as 351 Cleveland. So, Oldsmobile 455 and 351 Cleveland.
That's the only two that are like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, only two that are like that. Of course, all the rest of them are big block Chevrolet.
Yeah.
All of them. Small block Ford, FE Ford, 429, 460 Ford. They're all big block Chevrolet.
Huh.
Oldsmobile 351 Cleveland. That's good. That's good to know.
Great.
Somebody could come to the shop one day and say, "God damn, I wish I had a." Sorry.
It's all right. This isn't a PG channel. You can say that if you need to.
Sorry, I wish I had a fuel pump block off for a 351 Cleveland. And you got a dozen Oldsmobiles over there. There you go.
Yeah, right. All right, so we've got intake manifold bolts because we had one that was, we had an odd collection of shorts and longs. We had one extra long and missing a short. And then this is going to be a big hit with the fans. Yeah. Fram oil filter.
Unfortunately for an Oldsmobile, that's the one I have.
All right, fair enough. All right.
What's in the bag?
Some extra stuff that I don't need. I'm bringing some stuff back.
It's not the way it works.
I want some money back, Terry. I want some money back. I'm also running on almost no sleep. And we've got a very
There's
long,
a lot of
very
that
busy
going
day
around today.
Yeah, I know. I was watching Bill's video and seeing Tommy where he just hair all up in the air.
There's a lot of
Hasn't been a lot of sleeping happening lately.
No.
Well, we're all trying to kind of rush.
Yes.
I've got to rush because Bob's about ready to leave and head to Florida. And those boys are already on their way to Florida.
Yep.
As far as I'm concerned. So,
Jeffrey was just in here moments ago.
Jeffa.
And getting some belch for the dart.
Oh, yeah.
He's Tiffany's racing the dart, and he's doing the driving besides the racing.
Very cool.
Yeah, very, very cool. Yeah, very, very cool. So it's I'm anxious to see that. That's Allison's race car dart.
Yes.
And then of course Allison's driving the Dakota.
Yep.
So it'll be cool, super cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's going to be a whole lot of. It's a whole lot of irons in the fire.
Yes.
A lot of things that are going to be moving around down there.
Yeah.
They're going to have a good time.
Like we said, he mentioned it a while ago. I said, I can't wait to see the pics. I can't wait to see the videos. And he goes, as long as it doesn't involve any videos of being on the side of the freeway somewhere.
Right.
I said,
right.
I'm 100% with you there. But
we do not want any
100% with you.
Side of the road fixing. Yeah. So sick. I don't know when they're going to watch this video. I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to edit this video. But Sick Week starts Monday. Starts in Bradenton. And everybody's on their way.
No, it starts in South Georgia.
Starts in South Georgia.
South Georgia.
Ends in Bradenton?
Yeah. No, ends back in South Georgia.
Okay.
Because they go from South Georgia, like all the way down to Tampa, and then go back up towards Daytona Beach, race in Daytona, at that direct strip that's in Daytona. I can't remember what name it is. And then they go to Bradenton. They race
back across?
They race somewhere in Gainesville in the meantime. I think they might be on their way down towards Tampa. But yeah, it's 850 miles, something like that, all around.
Terry knows more than I do.
Yeah,
I don't know. They're headed South Georgia down to Florida, wherever it is. They're going to do some race car stuff, do this drag and drive stuff. And hopefully we don't see any broken down car stuff, because you know what they don't have down there in Florida? They don't have a Jegs. They do have one of those other guys down in the Atlanta area, I believe, don't they?
Yes.
So
yes,
at least you got that down there. But
that's a good ways away from where they are.
Yeah.
I mean that's
Other side of...
Yeah, that's the other side of the world. Yeah, that's a long ways. There is some shops in the Florida area, not big shops, but there is at least some speed shops there. So
well, they're also all the way across the board as far as what you could possibly want in parts.
True.
They're old school Mopar. They're you can't find it modern new Mopar.
Oh. Yeah,
so
there's lots and lots and lots of stuff. But it's the good thing about it is that you got enough people, and it's all together. Enough people that you already know.
Yeah.
You don't have to become friends with it. Hey man, could you give me? And then you got people that are just driving it too.
Yeah, which is a neat feature.
So you can hop in the car and go get something, go come back.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about it.
The sick word thing is kind of neat.
That breaks, you know.
Right. Or if you
The Chevrolet guys, you shouldn't have a whole lot of issue, but the Mopar guys, you're not going to go to AutoZone, Reliable, Applesauce, O'Reilly, and I'd like to get some valve spring for a 340. What's that?
You know, it's crazy. I want a fuel pump for a Pontiac. Tough. You can't get one.
Can't get one.
It's a fuel pump. They're like $25.
Yeah.
Nobody stocks them in stock.
Nope.
Which is crazy. Ask me how I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ask me how I know.
That's the deal. It's a lot of this stuff. Oh, it's like your for this the distributor hold down.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, literally, they made millions of them.
Yep.
But literally, no one has one.
Nobody has them in stock. Yeah. So
no one has them anymore.
Funny. He brings that up. I don't know at this point in time. 8 years ago, maybe. Oh, that's why you leave your thermos closed off. I'm really running on very little sleep. It's probably 8 years ago at this point. Rich built an Oldsmobile 455 for his F85 Olds, which is the blue car that you've probably seen in the background of about, 100 YouTube videos, maybe 200 YouTube videos at Lucor Automotive. He bought that car as basically it spent its whole life as a race car up in Cleveland, and he wanted to bring it back as a street car. So he built a 455 for it, and it's going to be a pretty fun little car. But he has an Oldsmobile 455 literally sitting on an engine stand that has been there for I gotta say 7 years. And we needed a distributor hold down. So last night I stole that distributor hold down while I was at the shop. So figure I've probably got some time to order a new one. But yeah, so sometimes you got to rob Peter to pay Paul.
Yes, you do.
It's just how life goes.
Yeah, I've done the same thing. I guarantee I've been motors that were ready to go. I said, man, all I got to do is get something to put it in there. But a motor that is already running and actually having to drive, I've had to borrow parts off that motor that's ready to go.
Sometimes you got to cannibalize something.
Honor. Yes, you do.
Yeah,
you do.
So we also have some interesting machining to do to be able to get this thing hooked up to the dyno, which we'll talk about that when we get to Bob's place.
Oh yeah.
So fortunately, I also stole something else of Rich's from his old F85 455. So that's the benefit of us doing a lot of different stuff is we have parts for a lot of different things. Oh, what else do I need? I don't really want to buy anything else. I feel like my credit cards are at medium rare at the moment. The amount of purchases I've made, at least in this store.
Speaking of that, do you want me to put this on your credit card? Do you want me to put it towards that?
Yeah.
I already put that on credit card. But this one was this one was 24 or something, whatever. So I'll just put that towards that.
Yeah, whatever.
We'll do it that way.
Funny money math. You know, something I've noticed from my analytics on my videos, that it's not necessarily me that people are interested in watching. If it's a video with just me in it and I'm doing stuff, the video does okay.
Because you know a bunch of really great people.
Yeah. If I do a video with the best supporting actors involved, the video does considerably better.
Oh, I had a guy call me. When was it? when was it back there? Thursday. He goes, I saw on a video y'all testing Mr. E-Box there. And I said,
That video's doing really well.
I said, yes, I do. He goes, can I bring it down? Will you test it? I said, well, so one of us will test it. No, I want you to test it.
Yeah.
I said, okay. Yeah,
I want Terry to do it.
Come on down. And Bill's deal yesterday about finding a dash panel for his Nova.
Yeah.
I had 3 calls on that. Y'all, I didn't know y'all carried that stuff. I said, yeah, I carry it. Come on down.
It's the best advertising you guys could possibly not pay for.
Come on down.
Just to mention that, we are paying for these parts, by the way. This is not like
Yes.
like Jegs sponsors
It's the only
us.
way I can survive is that Austin pays for parts.
Yeah. We do pay for this stuff. This is sponsored by you guys, so thank you very much for watching. You're the ones paying my bills on all this stuff. Not that I would be upset if Jegs decided to slide us a sponsorship.
I wouldn't be upset if Jegs decided to sponsor me either. See, this is you got 8, you got 9 long and 4 short.
Yeah.
And all these other people that are selling these bulls for $4.55 show them exactly the opposite of that. They show all shorts and 4 long.
Longs at the corners and then 4s in the center.
And I said,
shorts in the
I said, why would you do that? But there's a couple other places that show them like that. And I said, that ain't right.
Interesting. Well, I know my problem was the fact that I had 1 extra long and did not have 2 of the shorts on the side. So we ended up just kind
Yeah, you got 4 shorts in the middle, and it reminds me of like a 86 and later fuel injected Chevrolet motor, because it's got the bolts that are straight up and down in the middle.
vertical bolts.
Like that, it's kind of like
Yes.
like that, because
Very
it's
similar.
completely different in the middle than they are on the sides.
Very similar.
You know, and
And oddly, the castings on the intake manifold will not allow you to clear these friggin' washers in 2 spots. So you have to grind the edge off the washer to be able to put the washer in, to be able to put the bolt in.
strange.
I tell you, life is tough.
Yeah. Well, they made so much different stuff, and people think a lot of this stuff is all the same. They think an Oldsmobile motors are all the same, like a Pontiac.
Yeah.
They're not. No. They're not at all like that.
Yeah.
And
AMC, kinda.
yeah, AMC kinda. 4583.
That's
But
on Rich today.
excellent. Rich has got the
You
money.
might have to buy me lunch, too.
I
heard you missed one from Bob.
It is surprising the differences about it's like 39-degree Oldsmobiles and what's the other 45 degree V8, 39s and 45s. So same size motor, except they're not really the same
But
motor.
they're completely different motors.
Completely different motors.
All right. Got some go-go juice in me. Got a car full of go-go juice. This is mine, this is mine, this is mine. Where's my bag?
Oh, right there.
I'm gonna recycle it.
Excellent. You throw all that cardboard stuff away.
No, I've got invoices and stuff in here that I need, and my pieces, parts that we actually used.
Nope.
All right.
Sign one of those.
Oh. Time for lunch?
In 5 minutes.
There you go. Enjoy your lunch.
I will. You enjoy the rest of your day. So y'all dynoing today, maybe, or not?
We're gonna hopefully at least get it on the dyno. Whether or not we actually dyno it today or not.
Flywheel issues. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
So, well, and it's one of those things like we don't really want to rush it. You know, like if it gets on there, great. If we fire it up on the dyno, great. But because we got to set up EFI on it too, and like there's a bunch of other stuff we got to do to be able to get this thing running. So if we fire it up today, great. If we don't, and it has to wait till he gets back, but it's already on the dyno. Either way, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
We just
nobody
don't
else is
wanna rush
going on
through
dyno
this.
while he's gone.
Right. And we don't want to rush anything and not get anything done. So
True.
All right.
All right.
I won't see you the rest of the day. Probably see you tomorrow. I'm working on a 71 split bumper Camaro with a 383 stroker project.
Nice.
Here in the very near future. I know everyone's sitting about 10 minutes away from here that needs a whole bunch of work.
Yeah.
And we'll probably be back here and have that conversation because I've
Cool.
almost convinced him to stop making excuses to not fix his race car.
Cool.
It's to the point where he stole the race car seat out of his race car to put it in his sim rig so he can race car on the computer.
No. That shouldn't be allowed.
Yes. You stole your real race car seat out of your real race car to play video game race cars.
No.
I know. Isn't that horrible?
Well, in the
if you're paying attention.
middle of the winter time,
Yeah.
I somewhat get that. But no.
Yeah.
It's got to, no.
Yeah. We'll talk.
Either I can buy a new seat from you and we'll just do it.
There you go. Or I'll just buy it. All right. I got a 45-minute drive up to Bob's, and we got a whole bunch of machine shop stuff to do. So stay tuned. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good weekend.
Stay warm. On the road again. Whoa. Okay. Okay. That's not terrifying. Oh. All right, just a quick little hop, skip, and a jump. Welcome to McVeigh's here in Mount Vernon, Ohio, about 45 minutes or so away from Jegs 11th Avenue. I just got some water drop on my head. That's nice. I needed that. See what Uncle Bob's working on back here. Busy man back here. Oh, got a customer. By the way, if you didn't see this, this is Bob's new Nova. And it's going to be a pretty nifty little machine. Going to build it as kind of a 12.5 kind of car, 12.0 kind of car. A healthy small block pump gas. All the fun stuff as far as modern running gear goes. This is almost identical to Bob's original car. When he was a kid, had a 6-cylinder version of this. That's what he started with. And then he doing a V8 swap, and he ended up in, that's where his racing career started, was in it's literally a Nova exactly like this. So really, really cool to see Bob getting involved in this. If you've watched any of my stuff with Bob from Pontiac Nationals and Plates and 28s, he had a freaking blast. The old dog can still hunt. He jumped in my 70 Le Mans and did an absolutely phenomenal job, and it kind of reignited the fire a little bit to be able to get back in the seat and be able to do this kind of stuff. And the man's got the talent to be able to do it. So this is actually going to be built over on the Old Man's Garage channel. Some of you probably already know that. Most of you probably already know that. And Bill's going to help out on all of the mechanicals and the bits, and leave the drivetrain production to Bob so he can build the motor for it. But they're going to be able to build it on their channel, so you'll be able to see this thing go from a very, very nice, I think it's like 23,000, 27,000 mile original car, and turn it into what it's going to be. So very cool to see. I'm very excited for that. And it will be, from what I know, at Bowtie Nationals in June, which we will hopefully both be at, and I will probably be out there with my 70 Le Mans. We'll see. All right, let's see what Bob's up to. I see my Oldsmobile. Well, my customer's Oldsmobile. There she be. Can't go wrong with that music. Can't go wrong with that music. So she's pretty much ready to rock and roll. Here's your dyno cart. We got to get her moved on over yonder, and then get her in here on Bob's dyno. We're going to fire it up and run it in on here. We'll be able to see exactly what this thing makes. Now this is an EFI setup. We are going to be running the Holley Terminator X setup on it. The nice thing is Bob's dyno cell setup here has all of the stuff that you need to be able to do that. It is a roller cam that's in this, not a flat tappet camshaft, so the break-in procedure is not nearly as complicated and stressful as it is with doing a flat tappet break-in. So we don't have any of that crazy stuff that we're gonna have to deal with. Bob, how you doing? Haven't seen you in days.
12 hours.
Just, I think it was, yeah, it has been long. Has been long. What's new?
Hustle.
Hustling on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Old dog still works hard. Get a few more things done before you go off to do Florida man things. So what I understand from you, you did some crankshaft balancing stuff?
Yeah. You got to bring your flywheel in?
Yeah, it's outside.
Okay, we'll bring it in here.
Okay.
And then I'll show you that while I'm doing something else.
I haven't talked about this on camera. Do we want to talk about what we're about to do with this?
Well, let's just one thing at a time.
Okay, one thing at a time. There is our flywheel. You're going to notice that it's not brand new because that's the flywheel that we broke in Rich's 455 on like 8 years ago or something like that. And this is my distributor hold down piece. A little, almost like bullet shaped little guy that is specific to these Oldsmobile big block setups. That way we can hold our distributor down and put something in that hole. So that little guy goes right there, does what it's supposed to do. Bob's your uncle, distributor is done. Now, we had ourselves a little bit of an unexpected circumstance. When you're building a motor, you have two different options as far as how to balance this thing. You can balance it internally, and you balance it externally. Ideally, if you're going to do it internally. And normally speaking, on most everything, like big block Chevy stuff, or Ford stuff, or even Pontiac stuff, you can find all the bits and pieces to have neutral balanced flywheel and that such. Not really the case in the Oldsmobile world. So this rotating assembly is set up for a neutral balanced setup, internally balanced, which means we need a neutral balanced flywheel, which we don't have. However, we do have an externally balanced one. So the wizard over here is going to see what spells he's got in his magic book to make this work, so we can get that flywheel on that motor, on that dyno cart, into that dyno cell so we can fire this thing up. That about right?
Something like that.
Something like that? There you go. Synopsis. What is this? Get yourself a peanut butter pie? Oh, that looks yummy. That looks yummy. What you working on over here?
Finishing up.
You get your push rods and everything
I did.
that we almost got you yesterday.
When you tried to get me.
We had 7 of the 8. There's my Pontiac. She's making progress. We're making progress on her.
So, first of all, I want to put it out there that I am not Mr. Know-It-All. I am learning as I go. I have some very nice pieces of equipment that helps me probably reach where I think it's good to be. This CWT balancer is absolutely I think the best on the market from what I've used this thing. And there is a tremendous amount of them out there being sold. If you go on to his website, he really breaks it down on everything you can do with this thing and how it works. So I'm not going to say a lot about the machine itself other than it is really cool. So, but on balancing, what you want to do is you want to get bob weights, and you take and put in piston numbers, what the pin weighs, if it's locked, it's a pressed in or it got pins, rings, and then over here, rods, inserts, total, throws, oil weight, and this one here on the rod, what it weighs total, what it weighs on big. A lot of the rods that are aftermarket rods, I don't necessarily, they are very close the majority of the time. so I don't chase the half grams type thing. Especially I'm more of a street build, and also when you balance this, you can balance this to what ounce per inch, as far as whether it's a race application or tolerances, I should say, in ounces per inch, which is 1.5 is very race type thing. Same thing, you can go on CWT website and understand this. But everything I balance, I just usually at 1.5, and it puts it down to where it's I will show you how close it makes it. And I have pretty well know where this thing's going to be when we get done with it, but it's right now it's in the form of us taking it out of the block, just changing our weights.
Okay.
So we're going to spin this thing, and I'll show you what it comes out to be.
And now you invented these weights, right?
I invented these weights. You take, the Bob weights, those numbers that came from this will go in a weight on a scale, and then you mount it to simulate the rod and the piston and all the weight that's on that throw. I set the RPM to 300 RPM. You can change it to run it faster. I have analyzed it to where if I put in 500 or 600 RPM, so it spins faster, it can detect more of a precise type thing, but same thing. I'm already at 1.5 ounce per inch. It's still very, very small tolerance. So this thing here will show you, like I said, not going over the machine or anything, but in the blue it is remove weight. So it shows that the front half of this side over here is 20 grams off, the rear half is 80 grams off.
Okay.
And so for you to tell where that's at in removable, so where this arrow on this thing here points straight up, you would remove 80 grams. Well, if you look, you can't remove 80 grams because it's on the wrong side.
Yeah.
So you're going to take and flip this button, and you're going to go to add, which flips this over here to the top. And it shows it on top, which is the hole that was already pre-drilled.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so now we go to the top side, 20 grams on the front. So you want the same thing, you want the arrow up. Same thing, puts it where the hole's already been pre-drilled. So we got to put weight in.
Gotcha.
This is how much we're going to add in for the 20 grams.
And that's Mallory?
Yes, heavy metal, which it shows to be 32.9. It's a little bit more, but that's the way it works out. Bolt up here that I'll put between the weights to simulate it too.
Okay.
I mean, to kind of give me a rough idea of where it needs to be. This is like anything else. The more you use the machine, the better you can estimate where it's going to be.
Sure. And this is, you're kind of a all race all the time kind of shop anyway, so we're balancing this thing considerably tighter than what most people would say is a normal street driven application.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I don't change the it takes very little to get it closer.
Right.
You're doing the same process, so why don't you get it right? Why don't you get it the best?
I agree. I agree. You got some, what is that, Play-Doh?
Yeah, I think it's actually that stuff you seal windows up with or whatever.
So this is just kind of a temporarily installed slug, so we can spin it again and see where our weight's coming.
So my neighbor up the road is a professional welder, and he has a TIG welder, and so truly what I do is he's going to stop by here after a bit, after you get this video done, and pick this up, and he'll TIG it in. Yes, I know it's drilled in this way, but the TIG that when you get it back, he's TIGged all the way around it. The thing ain't gonna come out. Sometimes they do spin out. They fly out if I take it to the river. See,
Like that?
Like that.
That's why I was shooting from the side.
No, that's what I tried to tell you.
Now it's okay when you do that at 300 RPM on the balancer. You don't want to do that at 6,000 RPM when it's in the motor.
No.
Didn't Billy have that problem? One of Maui came out and one of the...
Yeah, I don't want to put it on. I don't want no comment on that.
Stand clear of rotating machinery. Yeah, you're of the same mind that I am. Like, if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna go to the point of putting a rotating assembly together, get it all balanced right. Do it the right way.
Well, I don't even care.
Spend a little extra time.
It just, I think everything needs to be balanced. Everything should be balanced.
Yeah. Everything I've ever built, I always go through that.
So, it comes out. So this would be, the tolerance would be 12 grams on each end to where it would kick it to where it ain't balanced. So anything less than 12 balance. But you got to remember when I'm saying, so this thin little piece here is only, what the hell, I think it's 0. Is only 12 grams.
That is 12 grams.
That is 12 grams. So you got to remember this thing here saying from perfect, it's half of that or
Yeah.
2/3 of that to get an idea. So what is cool about this machine though is so if you was removing it like it says it would be, and let's say that thing was pointing up here someplace, so you can take and go in here and it will tell you, you can go what the diameter drill bit it is. You can do any size of drill bit.
Oh, okay.
And then it will tell you how deep.
It'll calculate it for you.
It'll tell you how deep to drill the drill bit and whether the drill bit is tapered or what, for instance.
Wow.
I mean, this thing is absolutely incredible.
So there's no guess and check kind of situation.
Yeah. And I in the early days when I was kind of wanting to reevaluate the machine, I think it was Billy or somebody, we would balance something and it would go out, and he'd tear it up, we'd have to redo it. So I put it back in here and recheck it to what I already have because it saves all the data. And so you can go back in and recheck it after it comes back and it will simulate and go right back to what it was when it left.
Okay.
So it puts value in the machine is what I'm
Sure.
saying. And it's easy.
To make sure that nothing was...
Yeah, it just didn't change, or the machine didn't change.
Yeah.
It was the same when it went out as it was same when it came back.
Makes sense.
Because I think you can't rely on any piece of equipment. You've gotta recheck and recheck and recheck what you're doing because it will bite you if you ain't.
Yep.
But anyways, that shows you how close now how it is.
Now this is the crankshaft for the just regular old street-driven 350 Pontiac?
Yeah, it's your Pontiac that's in there that we took back out because you changed pistons and rods.
Right. You made me.
Well, I told you that I wanted rods.
But, yes, is it overkill for what we're doing? Yeah, maybe. But
No, it's not overkill because you are balancing it because you changed the parts in the rotating assembly from factory.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I don't think it's that close from factory. This older stuff,
right.
because we didn't have the technology that we do today.
Right. The tolerances back in those days.
Yeah, the tolerances, would have been 30 grams. And a lot of the stuff that will come in, it's pre-balanced, will show 30 grams up here. And then I will balance it down to under 12.
Even if it's a balanced rotating assembly?
Even if it's a balanced rotating, I will check it, and I've seen multiple ones at 30.
Yeah. Cool. So all you got to do now is have him weld these slugs in here?
And he's going to stop by here in a little bit. I will buy a TIG welder at some point, but he does it. I don't have no, just a job I don't want to do.
Sure.
You know, and he,
Well, if you've got somebody who's talented at it, why?
yeah, and so and the bob weight of this was 2472 of the total. So if you take this off there and set it on that scale, it measures 2472. So
And you-
that's what you're simulating on that.
These
throw.
are all different weights of things to be able
yeah,
to
just like those there.
add up the entire total of literally all of the components that are going to be on that rotating.
2472. Cool.
Easy peasy. Yeah, look at that. If this is your first video, let me just catch you up on this. This is the 350 Pontiac that we are putting that crankshaft in. Initially, this is basically a original 350 Pontiac, still stock bore. It was running stock rods and stock pistons. We had just done a refresh and a hone on it a while back, and it had an overheating issue. We were concerned about some issues, and we thought we maybe had possibly damaged something, so we tore the motor down. And then we were just going to kind of put it back together again as it was, and then decided, you know, maybe that's not the greatest idea. Let's go ahead and check everything. And we did indeed find an issue with one of the rods being needing reconditioned. But at that point in time, the amount of time and energy and money you're going to spend in reconditioning those old set of rods, which are, you know, from 1971, you can buy a whole new set of rods for only a couple $100 more, but then you got all brand new stuff. So we're getting rid of these old cast iron guys. We're going with some brand new rods from Eagle. And then since I was already doing that, it was like another $190, $180, something like that, for a brand new set of pistons, which are these guys here. So you got a brand new set of standard Silverlight pistons right there for anybody who's interested. I'm sure probably nobody, because nobody builds 350 Pontiacs, and if you do, you're not putting a standard bore piston in it. But we already have the ring package already ready to rock and roll, and that gets all that done. So all of these little bits and pieces, the rings and the wrist pin, the piston itself, if you've got locks that are on it, all that stuff, all has to go into that addition to be able to figure out what that rotating assembly mass is to be able to get that balance job done. So this thing is going to be very nicely balanced. It's going to be better than it was originally, better than stock, but it's still going to be a pretty stock 350. We're not getting crazy. We're not bumping compression up on this thing. The heads are going to get redone because we do have a sunk valve. So we're going to put new valves in it, new seats in it, new springs in it. Yes. New seats, new springs. We're going to basically recondition those old heads. And then we'll put it back together again, and we'll have a good baseline Pontiac 350 motor to be able to compare against the 350 HO motor that we're also building, which also nobody is going to build, because why would you build a 350 Pontiac for power when you could just put a 400 or 455 in it? One of the neat things with Pontiac, and I think Terry actually alluded to this earlier today, is the fact that the 350, the 400, and the 455 share the same thing. They fit in the same hole, they run the same accessories, they use all the same bits and pieces, intakes and all that kind of stuff go back and forth, back and forth. So the giant question that's always out there in the Pontiac world is, why in the world would you bother spending the time, money, and energy to build a 350 Pontiac when you could just stick a 455 in the same hole? And that's a legitimate question. But I already have a 455 Pontiac, so whatever. I've already got one of those. And I think this is kind of something that the internet has really not seen much of. I don't know that I've seen anybody do a 350 HO build. And I think it should be pretty neat, to be honest. I like being different. I like AMCs and Pontiacs, BOP stuff. And we do have a set of 62 casting heads, which are right here, which are the heads that actually were on the 350 HO back in 68, 69 from Pontiac. And we're going to do a little bit of tomfoolery, make those things flow a little bit better. But they are big valve heads that will do excellent on our 350 Pontiac build. And we are doing a roller in that instead of the flat tappet, which is going to be in that guy. So it should be a cool experience. It'll be neat to be able to compare the two also, because you're going to see, and we could probably talk even about, you know, cost difference between doing a kind of a stock rebuild and then doing a high performance rebuild, and you can see what did it cost different wise, and you know, what's the return on your spend or smiles per dollar, as I like to calculate. You know, it doesn't make sense to spend that extra money to go to do that. I don't know the answer to that. We'll find out together. And this is the 350 HO build. This is the block for that. This has gotten a lot cleaner. Still knocking crap out of the block. Yeah. They had a lot of schmutz and decades of crap in it. These are also, just FYI, pump gas motors, like actual pump gas motors. So they're going to be built to run on 93 octane, 91, 93. No 12 or 13 to 1 compression. We're going to be like 9.5 to 1 cast iron compression. No tomfoolery when it comes to running on moonshine. That's not my game. I like to drive my stuff in a lot of places you can't find the 85. And if you are 13 to 1 compression street motor and you can't find the 85, you got to put 93 octane in it, you're in for a bad state of affairs. Not interested. So we are back on the CWT machine. Crankshaft is out and it is over in the cabinet getting cleaned off so that it's going to be ready for welding. But we now are going to be able to take our flywheel and use the same machine to be able to balance. So there's our spot.
So this machine here has the capabilities of balancing a flywheel or a harmonic balancer separately to the crankshaft. So if you tore up a flywheel and you wanted to put a new flywheel on it, but you didn't want to take the whole rotating assembly out, you can, I would put the old one on there and see where it's at, and then put the new one on there and see where it comes out to be.
I got what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Now the kicker to me you got to be paying attention is usually there's a window of a V here on top, and the closer you get to that window, the closer it is and faster it balances. That's why this thing here tells you that. Now I would take, and if you have one, and usually the bolt pattern is oddball, so I would index the bolt so that the old one versus a new one, and seeing if it was going to come up the same.
Sure.
You follow me?
Yep.
But, you know, 15 grams is nothing, because we could probably bolt it on there and not even know anything, because as I told you, you know, I've seen 30s on.
Yeah. So this also, again, we talked about on the rotating assembly, shows you the bit to use and how far to drill it.
Yeah.
And it already tells you where to drill it. So you literally just punch a 1/2 inch deep hole right there, and with a 0.625 bit.
And we'll drill one. We'll drill one about half of that, and we'll put it back on there and see how it.
Like balancing tires.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. Except for the fact that we can't drill on that.
No, I got to put it up here on this. I can't drill sideways.
Just get a little hand drill out and just give her hell.
Give her hell.
So now once we have this done, we got to find something to build a stick shift big block Oldsmobile.
We got your headers out there?
Yeah. Yep, headers, header bolts, all that stuff. All right, and then toss it back in the balancer. And we'll spin it again, see where we are. If you've ever watched somebody balancing tires, wheel and tire assemblies, very similar situation. You're just balancing rotating mass. And a lot of times when it wants a certain amount, or it says, hey, do this amount to it, if it wants 4 ounces on the tire, you're like, let's try that a little different. Let's put 3 ounces on there first. Let's respin it and see what happens. Because sometimes what you don't want to do is overdo something. You would rather underdo it and have to do it again than overdo it and you end up in a world of hurt, especially in something where you're drilling a hole in it. So we'll put her back on there and spin her and see where we are. But this is going to give us a neutral balance flywheel for an Oldsmobile at this point in time. So maybe I need to find some sort of a big block Oldsmobile stick shift car to build. That's what I need. No. You know, Bob, I can do that for you. Save your shoulder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See what it goes to.
$5.8 grams. I'd call that pretty minimal. Yeah, balance to tolerance. There you go. So you ended up taking it not quite all the way to the depth,
Right.
but we're still way within.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's still 5 grams. This on the bolt hole, yeah, it's moved a little bit, but
Yeah. Yeah, very similar situation when you're doing a tire balance.
yeah,
It may move where that weight wants to go a little bit. So now it wants to, now it's saying it wants you to drill a hole here. That's what, 0.18 inches deep. So just kind of scuff the wall. But to get you 5.8 grams, do you care? No. Leave it alone. Cool.
because the closer you can get to zero, like even on a crankshaft, when you really are looking for the last little bit, you can see it jump around because it's just so little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when I measured that, you seen how little it was.
Yep. Cool. So now we have a neutrally balanced flywheel. We made one.
You made one. Save $300.
There you go. Well, more importantly, we have one. It's not a we need one and we can't get one for a couple of days.
So what we tried yesterday was we took a big block Ford that has the same diameter on the crankshaft, was 2.5 inches, I believe. And so we took and drilled it on the mill to drill the holes to fit on there, but the outside diameter was too large for the bell housing.
Gotcha.
So we were like,
well, fortunately, we have one of these things sitting around on the floor. That we'll
alrighty.
never use again. Take your doohickey apart.
Yep. You ain't gonna believe this. So did I put this in there? So this is right.
Hey, look at the difference in the ring gear size.
Yeah, but well, we didn't really.
No.
It wasn't very much off.
And what we did is we neutral balanced something. So, I think there's a couple of different words of wisdom we can use here. Making assumptions. Well, you know what they say about assumptions. Measure twice, cut once. That's not an Oldsmobile flywheel. So, we didn't make progress, but we did successfully show you how to balance a flywheel. So that's nice. Where is that flywheel? I wonder if we left it at Performance Research. I wouldn't think we would have. We would have brought it back. Well, that throws a wrench in things. I can make some frantic phone calls and see if I can find one from somewhere. Hi! Our first signal that this was not correct was when you take it over and you try to mount it on the 2.5 inch and the Hole is 2 1/4. Probably should have checked that first, but hey, they're not all wins, guys. They're not all wins, especially in my world. Man, that takes the wind out of your sails.
Oh, piece of pie.
I would love a piece of pie. I want to go face down in a piece of freaking peanut butter pie. Give me a little bit.
You can have whatever you want.
Give me a little piece of that off the side there. I need a little bit of make me feel better pie. Oh, it's got a plate underneath it.
Well, you are just struggling.
I'm not left-handed. Can't eat pie left-handed. I'm not ambidextrous. That'd go. That's pretty good pie. Well, do we call Uncle Terry? See if they have anything in stock? Unfortunately, timing-wise, we're kind of huffed. Because even if they have it in stock, it's still like an hour and a half round trip to get from here to either the 11th Avenue store or the warehouse, and then get back here. Can I do that with a plastic spoon? No. Man. Okay. Well. Got any Pontiac stuff you want to do while I'm here?
I gotta get that Crankshaft.
Because we're pretty well screwed on this. Like I can get valve cover bolts and the tie down done and all that kind of stuff, but in order to get it mounted on the dyno cart, you got to have the flywheel. So, man. Man. That's a kick in the pants.